Welcome to Study Loop.
Okay, let's sketch out glutathione, right, in bond line format, because I think it's a little easier to see this in bond line format. And I'm going to color code this molecule, right? So here is glutamate, right? All right, there's our glutamate portion, and now we're going to move into our cysteine. Right, with our thiol side chain, carbonyl, and a typical peptide linkage. And then we'll do glycine in blue. And there we are. There's cysteine. Actually, let me make sure I get the charges to match, given the pH that we're at in this picture. Let's see. We want to do ammonium here. And I think all the other charges are correct. Yes, this looks good. Okay. Well, what are the three amino acid constituents of glutathione? As we said, we have glutamate. We have cysteine. And we have glycine. But what is so unusual about glutathione? Well, recall that for any amino acid, what we are used to seeing are peptide bonds that look like the following. We are used to seeing the nitrogen of one of our peptides, one of our amino acids, bonding to the carbonyl carbon of our next amino acid, replacing essentially the carboxylic acid portion, right? You'll note here, and I think what may make this a little more clear, is if we look at cysteine and glycine to see what exactly I'm talking about. Say we had cysteine in a manner that it was all on its own, right? Okay, now imagine I had glycine all on its own. Right. So what you'll notice is that we're joining the nitrogen of one carboxylic acid to the carbonyl carbon of the next. Well, glutamate is interesting because rather than joining to the carboxylic carbonyl carbon, that is, we would expect cysteine to be bound to this carbon, it is bound to the carbonyl in the side chain of glutamate, right? So this is a so-called gamma linkage, right? A gamma peptide linkage, meaning that the linkage is between nitrogen and glutamate's side chain rather than the carboxylic acid carbon, right? Because if this weren't like the typical picture that we might expect would be for, let's say we had this cysteine, and we had a typical peptide bond to glutamate, we would expect it to look like this. Right? But instead, we've bound to this carbon, which is unusual. Okay, that is the unusual aspect of glutathione. It is the gamma linkage.